Chief Fabian Head, and then Chief, sorry, I'm just going to open up this notepad. And then we'll go with Chief Marcel Head of Earth Cree Nation, and then Sergeant Richard Tonge with the RCMP's Carrot River detachment. And then from there, we're going to have a few words from Dustin Breers, and he's the spokesperson for SARSAV, which is the Search and Rescue Saskatchewan Association of Volunteers. So with that, Chief, are you ready?
Yes, we're ready.
Okay, just hang on. Let me take this off here.
Just Tina, give us 2 minutes.
Okay.
Tina?
Yeah.
2 minutes.
Sure, no problem. Oops. Oh. Chief, before you begin, do you mind just moving to the middle to your right a little bit? Yeah. Yeah, that's perfect.
Yep. Tina, Vice Chief Loret's on the list to speak, right?
Yes. Oh, sorry. Yes. Vice Chief Dutch Leroy from the Federation of Sovereign Nations will also be speaking. Sovereign Indigenous Nations.
Last.
Okay. Okay, Chief, are you ready now?
Yep.
Okay.
All right, we're ready. Tina, can you hear me? Tina?
Yes, I can hear you, Chief.
All right. All right, so I guess we'll begin the update here. I'd like to always greet everyone. Good morning. I'd like to thank Vice Chief Dutch Larat here joining us in person, and also the RCMP's Sergeant Richard joining in person here at the Earth Administration Boardroom. I'd like to also thank Tina for coordinating the media conference today. I'd like to welcome the media that are on the call joining us now and to provide this update. April 26th. Today is day 8 of the search. The local search team, along with the RCMP, SARS team, other First Nation communities and tribal councils, search teams, convergence volunteers have been continually searching since April 19th. To date, we've had 200 volunteers, 13 search crews over the course of the search. The search is obviously still ongoing. We've covered approximately 9,200 square miles. More volunteers continue to come in, and we ask any volunteers coming in, convergence volunteers coming in, to reach out to our emergency response coordinator, Alistair Nawakias, at 401-8124 for registration purposes. We've been trying our best to continue to provide food, fuel, accommodations to outside volunteers, those wishing to stay in Red Earth. The First Nation has also experienced 3 deaths in the community since April 17th. Yesterday, April 25th, the annual spring runoff also started. The ice on the river started to flow, and the water levels continued to rise. That poses safety concerns for our divers and the searchers on canoes and boats. So we had to be pulled aside to attend to that matter yesterday. Furthermore, we continue to accept monetary donations at myne@gmail.com or to the Red Earth First Nation Box 9 S0E1KO, and we are thankful and grateful for all the support that continues to come in. So thank you. Tina?
Thank you, Chief. Okay, next, I'd like to call on Chief Marcel Head of Earth Cree Nation to say a few words. Chief?
Thank you, Tina. Just want to say good morning to everyone that's from both the media and as well as, thankful, that they're one of the vice chiefs from the FSI has joined us. Just to touch a little bit on the search. I was able to take some time, over the weekend to join in with the search of Frank Young and the little guy that's went missing. And just by looking and, just talking to some of our searchers, I think our guys are getting a little bit tired, but we're also, been reminded, that a lot of communities, and as Chief Fabian Head mentioned, a lot of support is coming in, to help find Frank. And we're certainly thankful, for all the surrounding communities down the Kerr River, Yapoin, and Saskatoon. We appreciate, of all the help that we've been receiving, in search for Frank. Today, my council, or still in Red Earth today to coordinate the support that the families are needing. Because I think a bit of a anxiety and frustration is prevalent with the family. But we do have a support system, utilizing our elders, to talk to our, the parents and the relatives. So that'll be ongoing, and hopefully, that everybody, their hope is to find Frank. So that's what everyone's hopes are, is to find Frank. And again, we reach out to other First Nations communities. If you're wanting to send some of your people to help with the search, and also with the food, that's being provided to feed the searchers, and also the financial contributions that is greatly appreciated, and that's to help out with the filling up the outboard motors to people that are on the riverbanks, on the river, to help with the search. So on behalf of the family, we certainly thank all the help that we've been receiving, and hopefully we can find Frank real soon. So I'll end my comments there, Tina. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Okay, now I'd like to ask Sergeant Richard Tonge to say a few words. Sergeant Tonge is with the RCMP's Carrot River Detachment.
Good morning. I'm Sergeant Richard Tonge. I'm the Carrot River RCMP Detachment Commander. Saskatchewan RCMP, local community volunteers, and partner agencies continue to search for Frank Young. We've now searched roughly 92 square kilometers. This area includes the community of Red Earth Cree Nation, wooded areas, muskeg, and bodies of water. The efforts include extensive ground, aerial, and water searches. The search for Frank continues. We thank the local volunteers and partner agencies involved in this ongoing search. We also thank everyone who continues to help share information about Frank, his picture, and the last known places he was seen. Frank Young is 5 years old. He is about 4 feet tall and 66 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes. He was last seen wearing Paw Patrol rubber boots, blue with green dinosaur pajamas, and a navy blue windbreaker style type jacket. He was last seen by his family near his residence on Red Earth Cree Nation on April 19th at approximately 12 p.m. Family members started searching for Frank shortly before 12:30 p.m. Investigators have determined from local witnesses Frank was also seen at a local playground around 2:30 p.m. Carrot River RCMP continues to ask anyone who saw Frank on April 19th or has any information about where he is to call the Carrot River Detachment or 911 immediately. Thank you.
Thank you, Sergeant. Okay, next. I'd like to call on Dustin Breers with SARSA, which again is the Search and Rescue Saskatchewan Association of Volunteers.
Thanks, Tina, and good morning, everyone. My name is Dustin Breers. I'm the media liaison for SARSA for the province of Saskatchewan. First off, on behalf of SARSAV, our hearts go out to the family members and the community as a whole as we continue to search for Frank. SARSAV is comprised of volunteers from communities across the province. And we were called out early Wednesday morning with 6 chapters from Eastern Saskatchewan. And as the search effort continued, all chapters in the province were activated, which includes 20 chapters from across the province. SARSAV is there under the direction of the RCMP, and we're assisting in the search alongside many community members, the RCMP and other teams, including the Red Earth team, involved in the search effort. SARSAV is absolutely committed to the search, and we will continue to provide volunteers from across the province for as long as our services are needed. Tina, you're on mute right now.
Sorry. Could you just wait? Okay. So finally, I'd like to call on Vice Chief Dutch Leroy, and he's with the Federation of Sovereign Indigenous Nations. Okay, if you can go ahead, Vice Chief.
Yeah, thank you, Tina, and good morning to all online today. I want to acknowledge, of course, our chiefs, our leadership, Chief Fabian Head and Chief Marcel, and your councils for the leadership that during this very difficult time that you're displaying. We acknowledge all as well on behalf of your Federation of Saskatchewan Indian Nations, everyone who stepped up in this time of need here in Red Earth, the RCMP, the SARS, the volunteers from across the land, volunteers in the community, and we acknowledge and we thank you on behalf of the Federation of Saskatchewan Indian Nations, 74 First Nations. There's many prayers in different lodges, in different houses of worship across the land. I've traveled south this past weekend, and our thoughts and our prayers are with the community, and more importantly, with finding Frank. So I want to acknowledge as well our Chief Cameron, my colleagues, Vice Chief Pratt, Vice Chief Ali Bear, and Vice Chief Heather Bear, and our staff who are there to answer the call when needed. Our thoughts and our prayers, of course, are with the Eastern sector, and specifically Red Earth and Earth Cree Nations. We acknowledge the RCMP and the diligent work that they're doing to try to assist and bring resolve to find Frank. During these trying times, we acknowledge all of those again who stepped up, and we are there to help where we can. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chief. So, as I mentioned last time, I have a Dropbox where you can find videos, photos, and posters, and some new pictures from the ice break. So, anyways, I'll just copy that link into this chat box right away. So, yeah, with that, I'll just open up the floor to your questions. So you can either put up your hand, or you could write your question in the Dropbox. And then if you can just mention who you want to direct your question to. So let's see, Global Saskatoon. What evidence is there that solidifies this case isn't an abduction? Okay. Okay, so I guess that would be directed to Sergeant Tonge.
In this case, there's no evidence that solidifies this as an abduction. There's no evidence to support that Frank was abducted. We've had numerous tips, some from as far away as Edmonton, Red Deer, Saskatoon, Prince Albert. We've been following up on those tips. We've been very fortunate. Our partner policing agencies have taken this seriously, and they've conducted very quick and thorough investigations to show that sightings in these areas were not Frank. We have no witness evidence, no video evidence to support Frank was abducted from the community. The members of the check stop did not see Frank leave the community in any vehicle. So at this time, we have no evidence to support Frank was abducted.
Okay, thank you. Here's another question for you. This is from Nikki with the Canadian Press. Is this still a rescue mission or a recovery mission? Is Frank presumed alive?
I don't know if Frank Young is alive. We haven't given up hope. History, previous searches have shown us that humans can be incredibly resilient. And that is why our efforts continue. And we're doing everything we possibly can to find Frank. And our hope is we will find him alive.
It's still a rescue mission and will not stop until we find Frank.
Okay, I have another question for you. In terms of the events leading to Frank going missing, who was the last person to see him, and also who saw him at the playground last Tuesday?
Family members were the last people to see Frank at his residence. Another community member has come forward and given us the information that Frank was at the playground. I'm not prepared to provide names at this point.
Okay, I missed a question, a previous question. Have searchers found any clothing or items that may belong to Frank?
Searchers have not found clothing or items that we can confirm are related to Frank. We have found many items. One example is a black jacket with stars that was found, which is clearly not related to Frank. So items are being found, they're examined very carefully, and at this time we have nothing has been found that is related to Frank Young.
Okay, next question from CKOM News, and this is for Chief Marcel Head. This could be for any chief. So Chief Marcel Head mentioned that the water searches are becoming more difficult. Can you elaborate on that, and why are searchers drawn to lakes, rivers, etc.? So for the first part, I wonder if you can answer that, Chief Fabian Head. Can you maybe describe for like those people who aren't familiar, or who haven't been around like the rivers? Can you describe like what the breakup looks like?
Oh, sure.
And specifically yesterday, and how it impacted the search in the water.
Well, around April, we anticipate the annual spring runoff coming down from the Kerr River, and at times we have to be on flood alert. I don't know if the media is aware, but Red Earth has had to evacuate 5 times in the last 15 years. And with the amount of snow on the ground this year, that was quite a need to be cautious and to monitor the spring runoff. And yesterday, the ice on the river started to flow. We weren't anticipating that until about next week. However, that occurred slightly ahead of time. Obviously, you can't control that. It's Mother Nature that controls that. And we're concerned because the safety for the divers downstream east of the river. We're in the river, and also the search crews on boats and canoes were also on the river at the time. So we had to coordinate some strategic positions of our emergency response team to monitor the river so the ice doesn't flow down directly to them, but the current was able to flow out to the Red Earth Lake, which is westerly flow. So that kind of helped with that concern. So hope that answers the question.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I have another question here.
Gina,
Oh,
Chief,
yeah,
Chief
yeah,
Head.
go ahead.
Yeah, just to add to that, we were just by observation of the ice that's, I guess, already flowing downriver of the Kerr River. There were several ice jams along the river, and that's what I was referring to. That the guys that are on boats that are searching, it's quite difficult to get through some of those ice jams because that ice is still thick, and the guys were telling us that sometimes they have to push their way through the ice by all means, and the ice that's jamming on the river, it's towards where the river gets a little bit more narrow, and so that's where the difficulty for using boats beyond as far as they can go, so that's where the challenge is for the guys that are on boats, and also the current, like the waters are rising, and there's several flows of the river, the water that contributes to the rising of the water. That just local knowledge, that this is the time where especially where snow and both ice begin to melt. That's where some of the water's coming from, and up in the hills too as well. The Pasco Hills, and the creeks are opening up, and certainly there's a fast flow of water constantly. I guess on a daily basis, adding to the challenge for boaters that are searching, along the river. So that's what I was referring to earlier. Thank you.
And thank you for the photos. I'll be putting them in our Dropbox. Do you have an estimate of how high the river has risen? Well, and when it started?
Probably on Saturday, April 21st, 24th, we received reports that the searchers on the river, it was approximately 6 or 7 feet deep at the time, but as of yesterday, the water levels have rose significantly. I'm guessing it's anywhere from 15 to 20 feet right now deep. The ice that started to move yesterday. So.
Okay, so next question. For Chief Fabian or Chief Marcel Head, Does Frank live in Shoal Lake or Red Earth? Last week, we were told the parents live in Shoal Lake. Was Frank visiting a friend or relative in Red Earth on Tuesday?
The aunt and uncle have been raising Frank. The parents are from the Shoal Lake Cree Nation. So Frank is residing in Red Earth.
Okay. Next question, CKOM News. Sorry if someone has already asked this. Have all homes been searched, and can they be searched?
Yes, on Sunday, April 25th, we had mandated our housing crew to go and search all the crawl spaces in Red Earth. There are approximately 200 houses that have been searched, as well in and around the yards as well. Any canoes, any sheds. We've done all that as well. So, thank you.
Okay, next question from PA Now. Does Frank have a history of wandering off? And this is directed to Sergeant Tonge. Or Tonge.
In our discussions with the family, Frank does not have a history of wandering off. Frank does go to friends' houses in the community near his own house. We've had no reports of Frank wandering off previously and missing for a short term.
Okay, next question, Josh Lynn from CTV News. Are air searches continuing? If so, how frequent are they?
Elaborate on that.
I don't have a timely update, but this morning, CASERA, the civilian air search program, was contacted, and I don't know the decision, but I believe they will be continuing to do aerial searches.
Further to add to that comment, on Friday, April 23rd and 24th, we had a helicopter from Heather Recon come and provide some aerial support, and we had some searchers go up on a helicopter along with the sergeant as well. So, and we had an aircraft from Ottawa that was utilized the day 2 and 3 of the search. Thank you. No. I can't hear you, Tina. You're on mute. You're on mute.
Yes,
Tina.
okay.
Sorry.
Okay. CBC French, just a clarification here. Was the search mandate made on Sunday or on the 25th?
It was on the 25th Sunday.
Okay, their next question. Are you focusing more on land searches or river searches, or are you searching anywhere or everywhere in the perimeter?
We are searching everywhere, obviously. So we've searched on river and on land and the marsh areas, as Sergeant provided that report earlier. Like I said, we've covered 9,200 square miles.
92 square kilometers.
Oh, 92 square. Sorry.
Okay, for SARSAB, could a 5-year-old reasonably survive more than a week in the elements? If not, why would Frank be presumed alive still?
Thanks for the question. As others have said, we're certainly hoping that we can find Frank alive and in good health. And as of right now, that's the efforts of the search, and that's what we're focusing on.
Okay, thank you. So another clarification, 92 square kilometers or miles?
92 square kilometers.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Okay. We have one more. For either Chief Fabian Head or Chief Marcel Head, can you talk a bit about Frank's family and how they're doing?
I can perhaps speak on Frank's aunt and uncle. Obviously, they're in distress. Obviously, they're emotionally and mentally fatigued from the loss of Frank's missing, and obviously that's quite understandable. So I can't imagine how they must be feeling, and we know that they haven't had sleep, rest and sleep, and since April 19th. So they're emotionally, physically, mentally fatigued. Thank you. And Chief Marcel can answer for Tanya. And
Yes, I've been talking to our staff more so with the health center, our health director. It's been in contact with the parents, and today I've been informed, that yes, there's a lot of distress and frustration portrayed by both parents, and so at this time, we're providing all sorts of support, for counseling for both of them and relatives as well. If they do need the counseling, losing a child, or just basically, missing a child, for days, and you can just imagine, the I guess the thought pattern, that goes along with, having not seeing your child for days. I think there's more questions, than there are answers. I think everybody has to realize that, and along with that, the frustration, the anxiety, builds up. So at this time, our elders, our staff, health staff, has a mental health team, that are, preparing, to provide the counseling, to the parents and also to the relatives. So we'll probably, have to be more cognizant of the fact, that they will certainly need help, and support in the coming days. So that's where things are at the moment.
Thank you, Chief. All right. It looks like, okay. One more question here, and then I think we'll wrap it up. This is from CTV Saskatoon. Can Chief Fabian clarify the federal support he mentioned asking for last week for mental health and emotional support?
The regional director of Indigenous Service Canada of Saskatchewan had reached out to me and expressed that support is coming in terms of the mental health support. So, thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. I don't see any more questions. I'm looking for any hands up. None. Yeah. Well, I'll just Chief Head, Chief Fabian Head, Chief Marcel Head. Do you have any other comments? Any final remarks? I'll start with you, Chief Fabian Head.
We continue to be thankful for all the support, all the prayers, all that have been coming in from across Canada. On behalf of the the family, we are thankful. On behalf of the Earth Cree Nation, we are thankful. And we continue to accept any financial support as well at that email that I provided earlier, and also to the Earth Cree Nation as well. So thank you. There's also some information on the Earth Cree Nation page on the appropriate contact personnel for a directory there. So thank you.
And I'll be saving that poster in the Dropbox. So
You're on mute.
oh, Chief Marcel Head, do you have any closing comments?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Tina. Yeah, again, just echoing the words of Chief Fabian Head, just, to let the people know out there, that we do appreciate all the help that we're receiving, from different communities, cities and towns. And so we're still counting on a lot of help. Like I said earlier, our crew, our search crew are getting tired, and we hope to get more help, with the efforts of finding Frank. Also, those people that communities that have forwarded their the food donations for food to feed the searcher. This also is we do appreciate all the help that you've been providing, and also the financial support that we do receive from other First Nations communities. We certainly we want to thank you for your donations. It certainly helps with the search, and hopefully with all the prayers and the thoughts of well-being of Frank, and will be found safe and sound. And that's the mindset that we have at the moment. We just don't simply want to give up hope. In finding Frank in good health, and also with the efforts of the RCMP and the partners that are helping us. Tremendous thank you to all of them, and certainly we count on their support too as well. And moving forward, I think if there's any other organizations out there that would want to reach out with any help, we do certainly appreciate that too as well. So with that, thank you for all the participants here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Head. Okay, Sergeant Tonge, did you have anything, any closing remarks?
No, I just echo the comments of Chief Fabian Head and Chief Marcel Head.
Okay, thank you. Dustin?
Just want to say that, SARSAV remains dedicated to the search under the direction of the RCMP, and we really want to thank the community for the support they have given our searchers during this difficult time. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dustin. And Vice Chief Leroy, did you have any closing remarks?
Yeah, I echo the comments of our leadership and the RCMP, and we won't give up hope.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're on mute.
Darn it, sorry about that. Okay, so I have one more question. Sergeant, I think I've been mispronouncing your name. So can you tell me, is it Tonge or is it Tonge?
It's pronounced Tonge.
Tom. Okay. Okay, well, that's it. So I want to thank everyone, and we'll be having our next meeting will be held on Friday. So just if you want to mark your calendars, we haven't set a time yet, but that will be the next one. So, okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to end.